All right, we're back on Morning Line. With us this morning, Josh Horn. Let me tell you, folks, to know him is to love him. Am I embarrassing you?
No more than normal.
All right, listen, phone lines are open for Josh. He'll take your calls at 737-7587. Social Security is the topic of conversation. Though if you want to inquire on some aspect of his personal life, we'll see if he'll answer it. I don't know. I doubt you will. But you're welcome to try. Let's go next to Jimmy. Jimmy, good morning. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey.
Hey, what's on your mind, buddy?
Well, I just got a question. A friend of mine's got a son, and she went down to try to get Social Security. Her father died, and she went down to try to get Social Security, and they told her that the only thing she could get was death benefits.
They told
her that's all she could get was $300 a month.
Okay. Drawing a death benefit from the father who passed away.
Okay, a monthly benefit?
Yes. A monthly benefit of $300 a month from the father's benefits. And how old's the son? How old's the son?
He's 8 now.
Okay.
Okay. But you're talking about how much he could draw or how much she could draw?
How much he could. So they never was married, and she was. We went to the Social Security office, and they said that they couldn't. That's all they could do. That was it.
Is there any other children involved?
No, it's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of a few different scenarios in my head. Hard to tell for sure, obviously, but and depending on the work record too. You know, I don't know if he worked.
Well, so he was on disability whenever he died. He was diabetic, and that's what he died from.
You know, it's all based on the earnings record, and so if there's not a whole lot of earnings, if he had been disabled for a long time or something like that, maybe he didn't have a lot of earnings on the record, then there just may not be very much benefit to pay out. Again, you know, and you said this wasn't the scenario, but for others that may be listening, if there's multiple children or other folks on the record, they have to take that money and split it out multiple ways. But you know, in this scenario, this situation, there may just not be that much. You know, he may not have paid into the system that much. I'm not sure without having the record.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering. She didn't know because it didn't make real good sense to her.
How much was he drawing before he died? Do you know?
Oh, he was drawing almost $700 a month.
So when he dies, it wouldn't be possible then to transfer that $700 to the boy?
Yeah, usually a death benefit for monthly death surviving benefit for children would be about 75% of what he was drawing. So the best thing for her to do is call, because if you need to understand, anybody listening really, if you're drawing benefits, you need to understand why it is the amount that it is. I mean, if it's just because, hey, this is how much the earnings record was, and this is how much the maximum, and this is the maximum benefit. Okay, that's fine. But if it's less than half of what he was drawing before, and there's nobody else on the record, I would probably need to call in, have them look up the record, and double check on that and see.
Okay, yeah, it's worth checking. There could be the money there, and it does sound like it's less than half than he was drawing, so it doesn't make too much sense there. So yeah, worth making the call, because mistakes sometimes happen. Let's go to Wayne. Wayne, good morning. Hi, Wayne. Did I take the wrong one there? Or maybe, no, that's Wanda. Wanda, go ahead, Wanda.
Yes, I was wondering, how did a person draw off a dead person, dead or parent, Social Security and retirement?
I didn't catch it.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what's your question again, Wanda? I don't understand. I didn't understand what you said.
Okay, I know this person. She's drawing Social Security benefits on herself.
Okay.
But she's also drawing retirement benefits off of her parent.
Okay.
And she is of age. She's about 51 years old. Is that legal?
Oh, okay.
She's drawing retirement benefits off of her parents?
Retirement parents off her parents, and she's drawing a disability then, right?
No, she's drawing retirement benefits off of her parents.
Okay, yeah, and then what else is she drawing besides that?
She is drawing her disability.
Disability, right, okay. So I don't know if there could be now, I'm sure the Social Security would be aware of it. If she's drawing SSI and is getting some other benefit from her parents, that would affect what she's getting from.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple scenarios that come to mind. One of them is if she was disabled before age 21, or she was disabled 21 or before, I guess before age 22, she can draw off of a parent's record as what we call a disabled adult child. And so that's actually a pretty common thing, especially with folks who have childhood disease and illness and things like that. But what we see sometimes is that they start drawing those benefits, and maybe they started working a little bit. Maybe they made $800, $1,000 a month, kind of like we talked at the beginning of the show. They worked a little bit here, they worked a little bit here. After several years, they actually became insured on their own record. And so what they do, it's really more of a systems type of thing where they go ahead and switch over to their own record for some of the benefits, and then they make up the difference on their parents' record. So it changes from drawing all on the parents' record to drawing the same amount, but some of it's on their record, some of it's on their parents' record to bring it up to what they were always drawing before. So I know that's a little bit complicated. It's really more systems issue and a math issue and where the money's actually coming from.
But you're thinking that it's probably been looked at. She was asking, is it legal? Is it possible that could be done legally?
We do have a few scenarios where that applies, especially if you're dealing with somebody who is disabled before age 22.
Okay. Let's go next. I think we do have Wayne on line 2. Hi, Wayne. Go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
My name, well, I'm 67 years old, and my dream in life was to own a Harley. So I was told that you can't own anything over $2,000. And I finally talked my daughter into, buying me a Harley. So I was wondering, do I put her name on the title? I'd like to have my name on the title also, in case anything happened to get impounded, so I'm not be able to get it. But I guess my question is, how much, is the cutoff point that you can own a car or a vehicle or whatever? Because I was told it was $2,000.
Yeah, because he's drawing what?
So I'm assuming you're talking about SSI benefit?
Are you drawing SSI?
Yeah.
I'm drawing SSI and disability.
Okay.
I get $70-some on one and $100, $700 on the other, something like that.
So with SSI benefits, it is an income and resource-based program, and when we talk about resources, the resource limit is $2,000 for an individual, $3,000 for a couple. And so in your situation, you're talking about the individual amount of $2,000. Now, the resources are bank accounts. So if you have over $2,000 in cash, then you're not going to be eligible. But it can also be extra vehicles. We exclude one vehicle, whatever vehicle, usually the most expensive vehicle, we exclude that one. But if you own 3 or 4 cars, or if you own 2 cars and that second car is worth more than $2,000, then you will be ineligible for SSI benefits. So if you buy a Harley, and I'm assuming you don't have any other resources when I talk about these numbers, but if you buy a motorcycle and it's worth more than $2,000 and your name is on the title, then you're going to end up losing your SSI benefits.
So could his daughter buy it for him?
If your daughter buys a Harley and you want to ride her Harley, then that's, I don't believe there's any issues with that.
I would just not put your name on the title, man. I don't know. I mean, as long as it's in hers, and then that, what options are going to come up? Your car gets towed or motorcycle gets towed. What are the odds of that? Well, when you really are going to need the title on there, your daughter's going to be around. That covers it for you. That's what I do. I would just keep it in her name. And otherwise, Harley Davidson's an expensive motorcycle, and it could disqualify him. So, but that's a good question. Good for you to be thinking that way. Let's go to Corinne. Hi, Corinne. Are you there, Corinne?
Yes, I'm here.
What's on your mind, ma'am?
Good morning. July the 8th, this month, I turned 65. I'm going to finish working out through the year. Come January, I'm going to retire and draw my widow's Social Security off my husband. I've already been down there to the Social Security office to get papers started. My 2 questions are, do I have to go back down there like in October to make sure that they're going to process it for January? And when will I get my first check?
So we can only take applications 3 months in advance. So I'm not exactly sure what went on when you went down there already, because again, we can only take applications 3 months out. So if you're starting your benefits with January, you really would want to come in September, October, to get those benefits started. Now, if you start your benefits with January, all of our checks come 1 month behind, so you'll get your January check in February, and then depending on when your birthday falls in the month, it'll be on a particular Wednesday of the month.
All right, good. Let's go next to Chris. Chris, good morning. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hey, how can we help you?
I have a two-part question. I was born in 1953, and I'm on Social Security now, and I turned 66 in August, in a little over a month, and I was wondering, do I have to apply to get it changed from Social Security disability to regular Social Security, or do nothing? And my other part of the question is, I'm not sure Social Security is paying me the correct amount, but the only way I have to double check their figures is from past tax returns that I have to get from the IRS. Is there any better way to recheck the Social Security office's figures to make sure they're paying me the correct amount? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the first question is an easy question. The second question is not quite as easy. The first question, though, is no, you don't have to do anything.
Seamless.
When you turn 66, it's a seamless transition in the system from disability to retirement. Most folks don't even realize what's happened because the benefit amount will be the same. Everything will pretty much be the same. The only thing that really changes is the fact that you'll no longer be subject to the routine medical reviews of your record.
Which is good.
Which is a good thing because now you're drawing retirement benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go back to work if you wanted to, and you don't have to worry about any of those kind of provisions either. As far as figuring out how much benefits on your own, I mean, there is a long calculation that has a lot of math involved. That's why we use computers to make those decisions. I mean, it is possible to do it by hand. You'd have to take the highest 35 years. You'd have to index it. You'd have to plug it in. You'd have to. There's actually we have what's called bend points, which means that the system is weighted for lower
I wonder what
wages.
I didn't ask him this. I wonder what makes him suspect that he's not getting as much as he should.
Yeah, that would be a good question. But I would better off would be to call and talk to them and say, okay, I think it should be this amount, and have them look at. They can do a recalculation.
Yeah, just have them do a recalculation based on it. Now, maybe he's been working, and maybe he feels they haven't included some of his more recent work
and that's possible.
Salaries,
yeah,
and that could have bumped it and could raise a modest amount. Hey, look, so I guess the answer would be not so much that he has to do this heavy lifting himself to go through all these numbers, but can you call Social Security and say, look, I'm drawing, but would you mind looking at the calculation to confirm that the amount I'm getting per month corresponds with what my earnings have been? I just want to make sure it's accurate. Can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at your earnings record. We can kind of talk to you about your earnings record, talk to you about maybe some of the things of why the amount is the way it is. Maybe if you haven't worked for 20 years and you don't understand how all that works or something along those lines, we can kind of talk through that process. But if there's also something specific, like, wait a minute, I've been working for the last 10 years, why isn't that on there? Well, I mean, sometimes they're actually not necessarily even on Social Security's end, but on IRS's end, maybe some things get mixed up, and we have a process for correcting those things. So yeah, I mean, we want to take a look at that, make sure your earnings record is correct, and if you have any suspicions, definitely talk to you about it.
All right, we'll take a break. Getting a lot of calls this morning. When we come back, we'll try to rip through you. If you're on the hold there, David, Mark, Jarrell, Rick, and others, stay there. We're going till 9 o'clock. We'll answer as many questions as we can for you with still a few lines open. We'll be right back with Josh Horn after this.